What? Yes, we are back to coding. Our Mega Man X any percent speed runs are finally over. Today we're gonna do some chill. In some arenas they call it vibe coding. We're not just vibe coding. We're not just coding our vibes. We're a developer. We could develop this stuff, but Claude lets us do it a lot faster. So we're going to be using Claude Code today. We've had a couple videos already with Claude Code. So I will do an intro on how Claude Code works, and then show do a little overview of what we want to implement using Claude Code today. Got about an hour and 45 minutes, probably, maybe 2 hours today. So we'll be ending a little after 1 normal time. So what we have open right now is Claude Code. If you've used Claude before, this will look familiar if you haven't used the desktop version. By the way, the music I have playing on Upbeat, which is royalty-free music, something just said World Ocean Day. Is today World Ocean Day? I just clicked on it. So we got like these like oceany nature soundscapes going. Anywho, Claude Code, you got some sessions here on the left. So each session that you open is going to be an individual context and coding session as you're going back and forth with Claude. And Claude Code is different than just chatting because it's going to directly link to, right here, our working directories of our code. And as we're working, we can specify to it whether it should create a work tree, basically a cloned branch, or like not a branch. Branch is wrong language because that's forget. Basically a clone of the project so that we can merge in updates. Or we can even have it just directly update our current branch, and then we can choose to commit whatever we want to our repository. So here, generally what you want to do is every single time you have a new feature, you want to create a new session. Because each of these sessions holds a lot of information in memory. And the longer you stay in a session, the longer certain tasks may take, despite it maybe remembering certain things. Now what you can do is you can add, after it's done, say learning about a certain part of your code, you can have it remember it and store it in a markdown file and just say, hey, I want you to remember this for the future. And it'll do that. By the way, this is my fidget toy that I'm fidgeting with my left hand, which we have plenty of time to do that now that I don't have a controller in my hands. These are stigmas. These are like little magnetic. These are the dubs, because there's 2 of them in one. And they're these great, awesome, shout out to Jamie Stigmas. Is it Jamie Stigmas? I don't know. They're basically magnetic fidget toys. They're fantastic, so highly recommend. Anyway, we're going to be doing 2 features today. Oh, we're going to do 1 feature, and then if we have time, we'll do a second. We'll see how well it does. The first feature that I want to do is in Switch Ball Deluxe, we're going to have background videos. And I want different background videos for every world. So off stream, I went on Pexels. Pexels is a fantastic site for free. You can donate money for stock video people have taken. And this is an energy plant game. So I found a lot of awesome stock video of different types of energy plants and nature, and some people made their own visual stuff. I'll show a couple of those, and first what we're going to do is show where those are going to go in the game. So we're going to move Claude here so we can see Visual Studio. And let's boot up the game and show where this video is going to go. So this game, as it says in the bottom left, is a monogame C# project running on the monogame pipeline. So what we're going to need to do is connect the game to the game. Let's see here. So, this is it. A little big. Let's move this. Alright, this should be pretty good. Right there. So here's Switch Ball Deluxe. This is, by the way, going to change. It's been here forever. It's the only piece of AI art that was a placeholder I did like 2 years ago when I very first started working on it. But say we're going to go to the adventure menu. Skip the tutorial that's in progress. Now here you can immediately see there's video in the background. So we actually spent, I think, one of these Claude sessions trying to get video to render, which isn't as simple. So you can see there's a power plant in the background here, simple smokestack. And this one's obviously, this was just completely snatched from Pond 5. I actually looked at Pond 5 for stock images. Didn't really like them. The prices were a lot. So we are going to be implementing our video. Now what we want is for each of these types of worlds, I'm actually going to make the volume a little bit less here for the music. For me and you. It's so uplifting. We have fossil fuels, windmills, solar, hydropower, nuclear, biofuels, geothermal, antimatter. So we got a couple sci-fi ones in antimatter and wormholes, and then Omega, which is like the final, the amalgamation. So for each of these, we are going to have different video running in the background rather than a static image, and the video will be on loop. And then when you go in a level, it'll also have video running. Now there's going to be 5 different videos we're going to start with, and the way that I'm divvying them up is that on the menu, as you're scrolling through, you're just going to have one video. The background video in the menu is just going to be one video. So we're going to have a menu video. And then when you're playing a given level, here the background video is going to change to a different one. So the nuclear is going to have 5 different videos. The first 5 levels are going to have one video. The next 5 are going to have one. The final 5 are going to have a third. And then the boss is going to have its own background video. So you have 5 total. You have one for the adventure menu here, just no matter what. And then when you're entering a level, you're going to have 4 different videos that show up. One for the first 5 levels of each world, and the next 5, and the final one's the boss. So that's going to be the design. So after we're done our updates, we're going to have, what is that? That's 10 worlds, 5 videos each. There's going to be 50 video files, 50 videos that it's going to be swapping through loops, depending on where you are. Now we're going to do Omega last because we actually don't have any video for Omega. Omega is like an amalgamation. It's the final. It combines a lot of mechanics. So I'm not 100% sure what I want to do for the video, so I don't have specific videos for it. I might do something like an overlay of different plants, like something fancy. So maybe we'll do that today, but I kind of want to work on 2 things today, so we'll see how quickly you can do this. So what I'm going to do is, this is the game. I'm going to show a few of the videos that I have as an example of what we're going to be implementing. One thing I was just thinking of before I jumped on stream is that these videos are not negligible in their size, right? These are like MP4s or something like that. I think that's the file that type they are. And the more and more you have like a video in a game, the more the game could just, the size could grow. So I'm curious what that might look like, say, because this is going to be supposed to be running on phones, so maybe there'll have to be ways that I kind of crunch the videos. We'll see. But what I want to do is going to open up the video player here, just like the Windows video player, just to give you a sense of it before we build out the feature in Claude. So if I go to here, and we'll just open up, I don't know, this one. I'll pause that. And we'll do, let's share this too. These are background videos. And let's see, there we go. So here's just, you know, the video player, standard Windows. So for example, here's one for fossil fuels. Very nice, slow rotation. You got this giant field, big old stacks right by the ocean. So I really tried to, when I was researching them, I wanted to get ones that weren't distracting or very scenic. So this one for fossil fuels, very cool, slowly rotating video. And this one's like a minute something long. Now some of them are much shorter. That will be a loop. So for example, geothermal. Here's one for geothermal energy. Right? Very different. This is an actual geothermal power plant with all that steam coming out. It's so cool. We have hydropower. You know, here's a really cool one that's like approaching hydropower plant. You might have like the classic, you know, waterfalls like that. And this is a shorter loop, but because it's static, it's great, and it'll just loop very well. And then we have some ones for our sci-fi as well that were created by people. So for antimatter, we have one that looks like this. This might be the most distracting, so we'll see how it looks, you know, in game. We have these molecules on loop. Or say even one like this for antimatter. So this is all stuff people have made. This is super cool. Colin Jones has a ton of cool stuff on Pexels. And then wormholes, you know, more sci-fi stuff. So things like this. So these are going to be the background video that we're going to be implementing based off of the stage. And the other ones, you know, we'll be going through all of them. There's 45 of them that we're going to be scrolling through and seeing how they're implemented. So how do we get stuff like this in the game? That's where we're going to use Claude Code. So let's close the game. And we're going to go to Claude. And we're going to create a new session. So we're going to create a new one here. We're actually in a new session right here. We could go to recent sessions. We have an old branch for file level. I haven't changed branches. I could. It's okay. You can just point to this one. first what we need to do is tell it what I want to do. And that's kind of how you start. You want to be as verbose as possible. So generally, you can just, if it's a short prompt, you can put it in here. Whenever you're starting a prompt, I would recommend doing it in something like a notepad, or because if you accidentally press enter, it'll just go. You have to remember alt enter for things like here. If it's really long, you know, it's not going to show great. So I'm going to open a notepad doc. And we'll do a new one. I have so many windows juggling. I love it. Notepad. Nose is itchy. Always itchy. Okay. So here's Notepad. Oopsie, don't move that. Thank you. All right, so make it a little bit bigger. So we're going to put in our prompt for Claude. The better you are at being a writer as well, it's going to help. So we're going to say, currently, there is a framework. Before we start, all right, I'm just going to say, currently, we have a framework where video and our images are populated or background. Are rendered in the adventure menu in level. Right now, just one video. Multiple videos. Following logic. So again, I'm just building out the prompt so that we can just paste it in to get going in Claude. So we want multiple videos. So what are we going to do? So one, the first 5 levels in each world. There are, we can do bulleted lists. Usually markdown is with an asterisk. So it just helps it a little bit understand, like you can use dashes as well for bullets, but the 5 videos per world. 1 for the adventure menu, and 4 for the levels within each world. And then I'm going to say the first 5 levels in a world will be 1 video. The next 5 will be the second video. The next 5, third video. Final level, boss level, 4th video. As we have 10 worlds, this will be 50 total videos. I want the framework built out. placeholders. So I can paste in the names of the videos. I want from the content. What else do we need to make sure it does right? As with before, the videos should auto loop. And then we'll say, after this is done, because we might do this within the same context, or we do another one. Forward with updating the UI so that the text color changes so it doesn't clash with background videos. All right, pretty good. Let's give it that. Oh, one thing you also want to do is note how it's going to do the task. So I'm just going to say, please use a separate work tree for this task. So I can merge in updates. All right. Always say your please and thank yous. It's just kind. Alright, so we're going to give orders to Claude. Boop. And I'm going to zoom in here a little bit. Now on the bottom here, you can see that there is a high, medium, and low. This is effort. This means that if you want a really fast response, you can lower this. See, it says faster, smarter. We're doing high right now. This is a not super complex ask, considering there's already a framework for it in terms of rendering video. But this is all dependent on kind of how you want it to work. You can also check to see how much context you have. I have a pro plan, which gives you a certain amount that you can do within a 5-hour window in each day and each week. It's a lot though. Like, I'm impressed right now with how much you get. And it's only $20 a month. So I would not be surprised if they raise that in the future. In any case, so what it's doing is it tells you kind of what it's doing. So it's recalling memories, because this is stuff I told it to remember before from these other projects that we've had. It's looking at code. It's reading certain files that are going to be relevant to the hood and the adventure menu, which is correct. It's looking at the level attributes to know the structure, because I said, hey, based off the levels, do X, Y, and Z. It wants to create a new work tree. Fantastic. Go for it. And now it's looking at the hood. It's reading that, seeing what exists, looking at draw context. And now it's doing it. So it created a work tree, and it's updating the hood in the adventure menu. So as it works, we need to get this video in our content. So in Monogame, that means we need to put it in the pipeline tool and build it. So here is our pipeline tool while it's doing that. Stop moving it. This is connected to the project. And we can look at Claude when he's done. So here we have videos. You can see we already had a test video here of the coal-fired plant, the one that's currently running. We also have a logo video. This is what loads up when the game originally loads. Right now I'm just skipping it so I don't have to look at it every single time it loads for the first time. But we're going to be implementing the same way that this is implemented. So you can see at the bottom, you have the build action is build. See the processor, type of importer. So what we need to do is add our own video here. And we're going to be adding a lot of video files. So we just right click on video, and there's an option here. I'm not going to show all this stuff because it's not showing up on the stream. And you basically need to be adding existing items. Now I can go to Windows where I have all of these videos. We can add them all at once. So I'm just going to go there and find them. These might take a little bit because these are video. These are not insubstantial files. I'm just going to open all of them. We're going to copy them. This will take a little bit. If we hide this, you can see Monogame's still thinking. So what Claude does is it also runs its own checks. It's very smart. So it can run checks. It's verifying it compiles because it's doing its own stuff in its own branch. So it runs its own checks. You can also, in Claude Code, as you're building out features and things, you can have agents that do different work. You can get complicated with it. Meanwhile, over here in Monogame, yeah, go for it. We have all our video that we added. So here's all the video. What I did is, because this is Pexels, and Pexels is a donation type of site, so I made sure that I put whoever owned each video, whoever created them, so that later on I can donate and credit all these people if I use them in the final version of the game. So that's the way that I kept track. So the first is the underscore of the world, and then the last one's who created the video. So we have a ton of them. And now we're just going to go up to the top. There's build. And what we're going to do is just say build. And it's going to build each of these videos. There's a couple. You can see it skips ones that are already done. I don't know why this one failed. We'll have to take a look at that. That's odd. I did not like that video. One failed. That's weird. All right, let's take a look at it. I'm going to make sure they're building the same way. Yep. All right, which one failed? It was at the top. Click a little down arrow here. It didn't work. I need to make this bigger. What does this say? Oh. I tried to, I accidentally put in a text file of the credits. So that's why that failed. And I think that credits was right near, yeah, see video credits. I just did a select all and put it in there. I forgot to put this in the folder. So we need to delete this. Re-exclude that. I don't think we have this one then. Which one's this one? Nuclear Sarawar. Did this one fail? Or did this one work? Can I just rebuild this one? Good. And let's go to our content. I'm just going to be doing this separately. There's too many windows to share right now. Essentially, there's a content folder where the content lives. Just kidding, I'll share it. So you understand how monogame works. This is Windows Explorer. File Explorer. So here, I gotta make this bigger. You can see that we have a content folder. In this content folder, this is all the content that was added via the pipeline. Now, a reference to all that stuff is in this pipeline content. This is the builder project. There's also stuff built into bin and object. But if we go into video, here's all of our new MP4 files. And we should have a text file in here, because even though we excluded it, here it is. This text file we need to delete here as well. But now everything is in there. You can see they're pretty big files, naturally, because video. So we're done that. And hey, look, Claude finished too. So what's great is it gives us a summary. So it said, hey, it created a new work tree called multi-world videos and said what was built. We have a new file called world video config. Fantastic. It creates one based off the world type, and it's grouping them based off of the world type and the level ID. That's what we wanted. So you have levels 1 through 5, 6 through 10, 11 through 15, and then the boss level. And it says, hey, there's going to be to-dos with comments. And you can just replace the null with the video that we want, which is going to be coming from our stuff. So that's great. So what we're going to do is we're going to merge in these updates, and then we'll take a look at what it did. And then we have to populate this world video config with all our video. So I'm using Tortoise Git. People like different types of Git tools. It's one that I've used for a very long time, so I'm comfortable with it. So I think I can partially show that here. Well, we can go to it. So here you can see that there is a Claude folder within your directory. So here's the directory. You can see that this is something in process. We're going to get to it hopefully tomorrow or the day after. Is starting to build out these Android bindings, these different basically branches off of the shared folder. So you have the Windows, which we're running right now, because it's going to be running in Windows and Steam, but we want it to work on phone as well. So Android, we're going to figure out iOS too, but that's why there's different folders. But you can see we have a Claude folder here. If we go to work trees, there are different work trees for every branch. Now the one it just did was this one, multi-world videos. Now it automatically committed its work. That's what we were approving when we said, hey, yeah, allow it. We said, hey, yeah, go ahead, commit the work. Sometimes it won't commit it. So you can configure it to say, nah, don't commit the stuff. I want to commit it first. But if we take a right click here, what I'm going to do is I can take a look at the log. I'm going to show this too. This is again a tortoise git thing, but you know, if you're using whatever tool, we'll get out all the windows today. Let's see, which one is it? Nope. That's not it. Is that it? Tortoise? Hello? Nope. That's me. You want to see? You want to see infinity? Whoa, it's infinity! Welcome to Streamlabs. It is not finding it. It's the window right here. I have a tortoise window open. Hey, look, it's World Ocean Day. This is what we're playing, the music. It is not finding it open, despite it being open. So we're just going to pause on that for now. Anyway, the Git just shows the files that were changed and stuff. So we'll just take a look at them in the project itself. So we want to merge in our updates. You can look through them. These are pretty safe updates. I'm just going to merge in and take a look that way. Naturally, if you're making really big updates, don't just blindly merge stuff in. For this, I trust, I know it's not working off of a blank slate, and the updates it did are pretty small. So we're going to merge, and again, you can't see the merge tool, but c'est la vie. Let's see here, work tree. Cool. So let's get that out of here. Let's take a look at Visual Studio. Whoop. Discard that. All right, so we're in VS. Let's just close our tabs. A lot of stuff we were working on. And we're gonna open up, well, first we gotta make sure that the new config file's in here. So what did Claude call it? World video config. So we can do a little search over here. World. All right, so it is part of the project. Sometimes you have to include it as part of the project. So this is the place that we're going to be doing all our updates. So let's zoom in a little bit. Will I do a Python class? I will not. But thanks for asking. I'm more of a C# kind of guy. However, if you are using Claude Code, you can request Claude when you're creating projects to do it in a language like Python. And one of the ways that using Claude Code is you don't really need to know Python to do it. For example, I have projects in another job where you know, you can create something via HTML or really anything. And that's the disconnect of people who are developers who are using Claude Code to build stuff and people who actually know the code. So here, I know my game. So we're going to be looking through and I can understand what it's writing. But I know a little bit of Python. I just haven't really built much in it. So this is what's great about Claude, by the way, is that it does a great job of commenting. So it even says here, just like we saw in the prompt, these are the different groups. We're going to replace the null. And here we have a get video path. So this one is going to be our adventure menu. And then here you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. And all we have to do is replace these nulls with our different groups. Thank you, Arabette Sandmore. Appreciate it. So we're going to have nothing for Omega. I wonder if it'll just blow up if we don't have one. Maybe we'll put in stuff for Omega. So now we just got to do some copy paste. So we're going to go here. We're going to go in our content, in our video. And here's all our video stuff that we're going to be copying over. And it's the format, as you see up here, is video/file name without the extension. So for example, if you're going to do fossil fuels here, you got to remember to minimize things because otherwise it doesn't show up. You want to do this. It looks like this. Video/blah blah. Like that's how it's going to be. So what we can do here is we have null a million places, right? And we just want to replace the actual video names. So why don't we just do a quick replace for null. And we'll just undo the ones at the top. It's going to get most of the ones that we want. And we'll replace that with video slash that. All of them. And we can just update these signal, which we did. And now we can go ahead and do some reviews. So we just take it. We're going to do an antimatter first. I don't know what video I want in each one. So I have 5 videos for each. I tried to get a variety of videos for each world. I don't know which ones I want to be the first 5, which is kind of like the intro, and then you're kind of in the meat of it for the next 5 and stuff. So we're just going to be putting them in, and then off stream, I'll be figuring out and swapping them which ones I think are what I want. So we're just going to do it alphabetically here. So antimatter. And we're just going to go down the list. And I'm actually going to hide this as we do it. And as I'm doing this, I'm not going to speak, so we'll just put up the music a little bit. There we go. All right. So we did everything but an omega. So why don't we just take what's in wormholes and make it omega 2? Because we don't have anything for that yet. I'm not sure what I want it to be. So we're just going to copy these. No. Oh, and I have 2 eyes. That annoys me. And then if all else fails, what video are we putting out there? Sure, this one. Alright, let's build this thing. So we can also take a look at the adventure menu and the hood, where it actually did these updates to render this stuff. So go to menus, adventure menu, and we're going to go down to look for video. You can actually look for this method, which is going to be calling. Ah! No. Really? Oh, that's the internal method. This one. There you go. So it's loading it. It does load content. I'm guessing it would have to do it again. Yep. Down below when we switch between worlds. It says if the current world's not the last one, it's going ahead and seeing if it has one, it's playing it and stopping it, and it's doing it the same way that we were doing before. And then if we go in the HUD, which is where the other video stuff's located, we can look for these ones where it's getting the level video path. Again, it does it at the top. It's getting it from the world video config. Cool. It's drawing behind all objects. This is a method we have for drawing behind everything on screen. It's getting the video here, has video, and then it's drawing it. The video frame's not null. It's going to draw our video texture. Let's try it out. Let's see if it did it right the first time. It's not always the case. Especially for complicated stuff. Alright, let's see what happens when we press menu. Skip this. Oh, that's new. So that's the one we showed. As you can see, it is chugging to render this video, because this is like an HD video with the pixel aesthetic. The main problem is not that it's chugging, it's that it might lag down the other stuff. Yeah, I can't even press left right now. It's so slow. There you go. You can see those slowly rotating. That's great. Again, it's super laggy the way it's drawing now. I can't even press up. Let's see if we can get to the other videos. The lag. These videos are huge. Nice. Well, it's working. There you can see nuclear. Biofuels. This is supposed to be like a stream. It's barely rendering it. Here's like a cool mud thing that's hidden behind the stuff. Here's one for antimatter. That one's rendering okay. Oofda. That's rough. Alright, let's try to go in a level. Can I press enter? Nope. What frame? Yeah, we got in. Ooh. That looks pretty cool. How laggy is it if I start playing? Alright, this one's rendering great. So, that's super trippy having that in the background. That is great. Such a different vibe. I like it a lot. So obviously, there's lag. It's chugging. It does great for like the first like 3 seconds. These work okay. What if we go to one of these? There you go. There's that in the background that we were looking at. Looks pretty cool. See if we go to the boss level. Is it a different one? This one's... It is not rendering that very well, huh? You know, when that's smooth, it looks really cool. It is just a complete mess. Can I even press? There we go. We paused it. Here's another one for antimatter. Just gonna look at them. I like that a lot. And then I think we saw that one, yeah. And then I think the first one is, yeah, this one. So the ones that were created rather than actual HD video tend to be rendering a lot better, but I think it's because there's less colors and stuff on screen. If we go to the volcano one, I don't know which one is the volcano. There you go, that's not too bad. In fact, when we've gotten into the level, I guess there was the one that we got into the level was brutal. Yeah, I wonder how it's going to handle this. I mean, I really like the way it looks when it doesn't lag. Love it. But like, look at this. Look how much is on screen with this geothermal vent. The amount that it's trying to render. So this is where you could be like, well, it's working. How do we either change the video or change the way it renders? Maybe it, you know, Claude will suggest something like, instead of this frame rate, we do this frame rate. I'm not sure. We have some cool... Can I get to these? Press enter. Nope. Almost. Come on. There it is. Got some grain silos. Oh, that's chugging. I'm going to look at the size of our videos. So some of them, you know, are like 210 megabytes. And other ones are, you know, 25. I think it also has to do with the colors on screen, the resolution. So let's go ahead and close this. It's working. That's the big thing. The videos are rendering. And we're going to go back to Claude and say, yo, Claude, pal. This is what's happening. Now, you can just type down here. Oh my gosh, what did I just move? So why don't we just put in here? Working great. Except. We're going to have a little except. Videos properly showing each sets of levels, including the boss, and for the adventure menu. However, the big issue is lag, depending on the resolution of the video. And the size of the video. Maybe. There is some serious lag. We suggest we resolve this. So I'm just going to create this one really open-ended. Just like, we got a ton of lag. What's it? Give me an idea of how to do it. So there was already a branch I did for game performance lag, which is great. It cleared up some stuff that I didn't know about the monogame framework that I was doing. For example, I was using a certain thing with the render target that was incorrect, that was using up way more resources, that it was able to identify right away, which is awesome. So let's take a look at our looping video player. This was something that took a lot of back and forth to get working at all, was rendering the video. If we take a look at looping video player right now, which is what it wrote, looping. So here is the looping video player. We have some stuff at the top, like all this elapsed frame buffers, frame durations, video streams. It's getting the path. We're setting stream selections. Claude's waiting for my input. Yeah, we'll get back to you in a sec. But you can see it's doing a lot of stuff here every single time through, because it has to be able to look at frame rates. You can see it's looking at different frame rates, frame sizes, durations, buffers, decoding first frames because it was not rendering right away in the first frame. We had some failures and things. So it might just say, hey, do a lower frame rate. Like, this is a pixel art game, so actually pixelizing or making the background a little bit pixelated wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, just because of the aesthetic. Let's see what Claudio has to say. Let's see. Ooh. Let's do like this so you can read it better. We're going to go up to the top. Good question. The lag has two compounding causes visible in the code. Cause 1. Read sample runs on the game thread, the main offender. Every game tick... Oh, by the way, I should have turned down the music a little bit. Every game tick where a new frame is due, the game thread calls this, which blocks until the CPU software decodes one H264 frame. That's the type of rendering. For a 1080p source, that can be 5 20 milliseconds per call. At 60 FPS, you only have 16.6 milliseconds total per frame, so one decode call can eat your entire budget or blow past it. Interesting. The texture uploaded is proportional to the source resolution. Okay, got it. Both costs scale with the source video resolution, not the game's render resolution. So if your videos are 1080p, you're doing 9 times more work than needed for every frame. Interesting. And then we're going to take a look at the 2 fixes. So the first one is we can re-encode the videos to this. So because the game is drawing everything into a 640 by 360 rectangle, anything larger is decoded at the scaler. So re-encoding them at 640 by 360 will reduce the decode time. A lot less megabytes per frame. So this is something I'll need to do on my own. It's saying, hey, you could use this tool to do it in a command line to basically scale them down. I don't have this tool, FF thing. But I could do this in like DaVinci Resolve or something as well, or I could download this to do this. The other fix that it says is decode on a background thread. Interesting. It occasionally stalls. Moving into a background thread fully decouples decoding from the game loop. The game thread only calls set data with an already ready buffer, which for this is under a millisecond. The architecture would have a dedicated decode thread. On update at the game thread, if a buffer is waiting, it sets the data. Interesting. So it wants us to do both. It wants us to re-encode all of them and then do this too. So that would be the solution, which makes sense, right? We are shrinking all these down to a 640 by 360 space. So it's taking 1080p videos and having to do that on the fly every single time is problematic. It's interesting that it gave me this solution to do it in command line for all of the scaling. And it's showing things like, hey, for this here, you can see my mouse, there you go. It's like, hey, drop the sound and stuff. There's no sound on these videos anyway. Do I want to try this? What is it called? FFmpeg? Or does I have to pop in all of these things? Where is it exporting them to? There you go, output. Interesting. How long would it take me to do it in DaVinci Resolve? Not insignificant time. I had to take it in, shrink it down to a size, re-export it 45 times. No? Yes. 45 times. Whereas here is this command line I could run. I could copy and paste all these in. All right. So this is monkey work. Either doing it this way or DaVinci Resolve. But we're going to stop there because I can do this off stream, do the monkey work of either using a tool like this, which we're basically just going to rescale the videos down to 640 by 360 to re-encode them all. And then we might do this thing too. Like, why not? Why not do the thing that's going to make it better? So this is a thread. So we're going to create a new thread, actually. Before we do that, we'll commit what it's already done. So we can improve this, right? It's lagging a lot. Whatever, bro. We can fix that. But we can create a new thread to do a new update at the same time. Whoa. So first, let's commit our updates to this, because everything we have here is Gucci. It just needs to be improved. Yes, I got my daily. I gotta block that line. Still haven't done it yet. Slacking. AI viewers. It knows. They would love Claude. They would love it so much. Okay. We are going to. This is just a commit. Okay. There's a lot here. I'm getting really close because I'm looking close. Hello. Yes. I'm gonna do this. I have a lot of new video. All right. Yeah. Backups? Why did I create backups? Fine. All right, so I'm just committing this. I don't see the adventure menu and HUD updates here. Oh, it's because I did that. All right, let's commit those. Meanwhile, while I was doing that, multitasking, because we're smart. Here's Notepad. Here's our first prompt. We're going to do a new one. I can just do it below it. So what is the other feature that we want to do? Well, you may have noticed in the adventure menu, there's a little section. And we chatted about this in a previous coding stream, where I want a thumbnail of the level. So there's going to be a thumbnail of the level in the adventure menu. So before you go in there, you can see what it's going to look like. Now, there were two ways to do the thumbnail. One is I could just take a bajillion screenshots. So there's 160 levels. You take a screenshot of each level, and then you render that sprite of the screenshot into that little space. You put it all into a sprite sheet, and then you're done. And I was going to do that because it's not too hard to configure a screenshot thing to look at a certain part of the screen, load up a level, click, 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 paste it onto a sprite sheet, and do all the work. However, the other option, now that we have something like Claude, is much more tenable, where instead of using screenshots, we could actually try to render the level objects in a little space. I'm really curious if you can do it. I'm really curious if we can do it. By the way, TortoiseGit is freaking out trying to commit all these video files. It's not responding right now. So, if the stream ends unexpectedly because my computer crashes, no. It is struggling. Well, let's go ahead and we're going to start the game to show where this is at. Give context. Context. Skip that. Okay. So see this window right here. This is going to be where the what's it called? Thumbnail of the level is. Right in this spot. Now this might need to this little border, it might need to change a little bit because I think it's the same dimensions as the level. And we also have this junior mode on off right here. That'll just need to be moved somewhere. And then as you scroll between levels, which is a little bit hard right now because of the lag. If I can get over to a different one. It would change. So you go in there. Come on. We got there. Keep pressing enter. There we are. this is lagging great too. And this level, which is Wizard Stripes, these blocks and all would just be right in there. It'd be a nice little preview. Shrunken down. Just a little visual preview. Oh, Tortoise Git, it's finally working. Didn't crash. So that's what we're going to do, is we're going to put it there. Hey, let's go. We committed it. I am surprised, though, that it doesn't have the... adventure menu updates. Oh. Interesting. It auto committed that upon the merge. That's really interesting. We're still learning stuff about Git. Okay. So let's create our prompt. And we got about a half hour here. Let's see if we can do it. Let's see. Notepad. So I'm going to say, this is going to be in a new session. I'm going to say, I want to create a thumbnail in the adventure menu. Each level, so that when you move between levels in the menu, you can see a visual snapshot of what you're about to play. There's a space for the thumbnail in the bottom right part of the menu. Now, I was going screenshots of each level and then shrink them down. Sprite sheet and render them in the menu. However, this is a lot of monkey work. I'd like to see if we can instead dynamically render a snapshot of the level in a small location. in order to do so, you would basically have to load all the objects. Just draw them in a small space. I don't care if it's all pixelated. This is just a snapshot glimpse. So you remember what the level looks like. Or to give you a hint. If it's the first time you've played it. For the snapshot, just want the level objects. Basically everything in the level builder. Handles. No background images. Video. We already have that. So before we do this, I'll get on that, please. All right, let me hide this. So this is what you want to do in Claude 2, because we're moving to a different session, and I kind of want this to be saved, this context. Don't do the background thread stuff yet. Can you save? Memory. Going to start a new session. It also looks at the adventure menu. So it's going to update kind of what it knows about this looping video stuff and the adventure menu, so that when we start a new session, it's not starting from scratch, and that it knows what these other sessions did, at least as much as it needs. Cool. And then remember at the beginning we said, hey, we want to change the text color. So it's looking forward to it. Oh, looking forward to it. Good. All right. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna give it this in a new session. So we're gonna start a new one. And we're gonna do this. Bing. And now we let it work. So you can see it already has some stuff. It's trying to look at our levels and stuff. Sure. There's a background agent it already has for the adventure menu. Level builder, it's getting started. Now it is re-looking at the adventure menu. Maybe I should have said, hey, look at it already, but it's honestly, this code base is pretty small. And again, you want to split up tasks between things. So here we have a separate session. Each of these contexts uses up different, not just the amount of tokens and such that you have to use, but also memory. So if you keep bombarding the same session with different ideas and features and things, eventually it'll just take way longer, and it's not efficient at all. So trying to understand how you're building things out and segregating different updates and features and bug fixes is important. Now this is going to be interesting because the level builder class is the biggest custom class I've built in the game. It is the thing that is I built for the previous game that is built off of Blister Blight. And then this game is using that same level builder. And it's something that for a 2D game works pretty great. I spent a lot of time on it. And understanding how it works and how it renders this stuff is going to be important. Because essentially it's just going to be taking that draw window and shrinking it down. But it's going to need to render stuff dynamically. I have a certain idea in my head about how I would do it. But let's see what it comes up with. It's funny, sometimes you tell people that, oh yeah, you're a coder or you do game development. And then they ask silly questions like, yo, how many lines of code is your game? Or like, what is the biggest class? And you're like, I don't know. I don't really think that way. But definitely the biggest class is the level builder. So here we have some component classes. But if I go down to the level builder right here, even at the top, you see all the using statements. That should give you a hint. But this guy does the most of the work of the game in terms of dynamically pulling in and reading stuff, loading stuff, unloading stuff, rendering stuff, looking at sprite sheets. But let's do the fun thing. What line is this at the very bottom? Where is that located? Oh, look at that. It's only 7761. Does that mean anything? So even here, there's a method for loading non-interactive objects, which is a type of object. It gets stuff from sprite positions. It loads, sees animating sprites, because it has to create stuff in the little level builder menu too. So it's a combination of being able to select stuff, add a level builder, and click on it, and click where in the level I want it. Having a grid option. There's just like a lot to it. Maybe, just maybe in the future, that'll be something that I can open up to players too, so they can build their own stuff. But that's a very big future thing. All right, so it's reading files, taking a look at level builder and level builder object, which is great. It's understanding it. It's seeing how do they add objects to the level. And this is doing a lot of relearning. I thought I told it to, I guess I didn't tell it. Hey, take a look at what the other guys have already done. So it's doing some relearning here about the render pipeline, which some of these other sessions have done. C'est la vie. Oh well. This is normally too where sometimes you're like, huh, what do I do while we wait? Maybe just take a nap. Wake me up, Claude, when it's done. Wake me up when you've done my work for me. Maybe a snack. We could have a snack. We can look at more of these videos. I don't think we saw them all. I'm going to see the other ones I didn't show. Let's see what other ones we didn't show. Let's see. I think we saw the antimatter ones. So So some of these, like this is supposed to be what it looked like for biofuels, algae. You have some other ones for biofuels that are going to be things that... so biofuels uses agricultural waste as a large component to create fuel. It's a different type of energy production. So here there's some grain silos. You can see the clouds slowly drifting by. Man, that one was struggling with that. We have a nice one of just dried cornfields. Here's one of sugarcane. Sugarcane is one of the... Or no, this is bamboo. Bamboo and sugarcane are both used. I found one of some bamboo scrolling. Nice greenery. And this is a cool one of a tractor putting all of this wood chips and wood piles into a processor. We got fossil fuels. We saw this guy, the rotation. This is a cool one at night showing smokestacks. We have this one, which is another just big smokestack sending plumes into the sky. Try to get different colors too as you're playing through that are memorable. So different sections of levels. So this is a cool nightscape showing that fire is burning it off in an industrial landscape. This is another one at night that I really liked. Just all the... I think this is an oil refinery. We saw some of the geothermal ones. Some of them were volcanoes. This is just like geothermal landscape, so showing the steam coming off of it. We saw this volcano one too, which is active eruption, which is really neat. And then this one as well. This one's really neat. Just this still shot of lava bubbling out of a volcano. How's Claude doing? Claude's still working. Hydropower. We saw some of the hydropower ones. Here's one of a spillway. We have some spillways. Here's a long one, and this one goes over a... You can see the water level's really low here, but you can see the dam spillways, and this is a long video. We saw this one. Here's a cool one showing water churning below. That one's really neat. So you can see that there's a lot of visual noise going on. So rendering these at a 640 by 360 is going to be important. And this is a really cool video over top of seeing that water cascading down. A little bit of vertigo. If you have vertigo, this level's going to be hard for you. The nuclear ones are generally trying to get cooling towers. So this is a cool chill one looking at them across the way. This is a different view of them. Close up. Just the plumes. Because usually when people think nuclear energy, they think of these giant cooling towers. They're iconic. And this is a cool rotational video of showing some that are different look. This is a longer one. Our music stopped playing. World Ocean Day was over. We'll just start from the beginning. We'll start something new. This is a cool higher video. And of course, solar power. As you can think, solar panels. I tried to get a few different videos of solar panel fields. I like how the clouds are reflecting across these panels. This vista. Here we have one, and we're looking down at them all in a row with a yellow field at the top. And that one's a shorter one, but that'll loop nicely. This one's a very different one as well. You can see the glint. It's a closer look for a loop. This one's got the mountains in the background, which is very neat. Much bigger landscape. And then this is a aerial view of one in the desert. Showing them down there. How you doing, Claude? Claude's still thinking. This is a hard one for him. I knew it was. And we'll take a look at the last ones here. Of course, when we got... This is what it looks like when it's not super slow. Try to get different color variations. So you know, once you get a feel of these levels or this background, you kind of... It sticks with you. So we got the cool yellow background for these guys. This is the blue background. We got... I like the one in the middle that's not moving. We have the cool red paint on these turbines. Or some people call them turbines. This is another hazy day. They're moving slower, different angle. Here again, we have some that are smaller, different angle. You see these smaller ones going really quickly in the background near the ridge. I like that a lot. And then this is a much higher view of the green. You get the hazy skyline. And then for wormholes, these are the sci-fi stuff. We saw a couple of these. So this is the crazy one. This is the one that you're going in. Very cool loop. And then the same guy, Colin Jones, who I've most videos from in terms of, we saw this one for wormholes. He has so much cool stuff on Pexels. We got this guy. Ooh, it's done. Yeah, go for it. Where's it done? Nah, it's still working. It just needed approval. So that looks pretty awesome. This is a more abstract one, which I thought was really neat. This purple spiral. And then the last one, just a galaxy. But very pretty. You can imagine it being a wormhole in the middle. So a nice mix as you're going through these different types of power plants. You start off with fossil fuels, it's very industrial. Then you get into wind and solar, and it feels like more outside with the hydropower. Then you get to nuclear, and you see the big stacks. You get to biofuels, you get back to some of the greenery. You do geothermal, you see some of the vents and stuff. And then you get the cool sci-fi stuff with the antimatter and wormholes. And then Omega, I haven't figured out yet. But we saw some of this cool antimatter things of just like concepts of what does antimatter look like. You know, in game, you're going to be splitting into two different balls. It's like the gimmick or the feature. So you're controlling two at once. So all of these are kind of showing molecules splitting or something that looks like atoms. We saw the more chaotic one like this. And this one was very cool, showing like, looks like atoms moving by. And then this next one is the absolutely balls to the walls crazy one, but it might be the next one is the most visually noisy, but it looks really cool. So this is a maybe. This was what was not rendering at all. when we were trying to do it in game. It looks really cool though, right? I don't know if that's gonna make it to the final version. But some of the playtesters are probably gonna say, "Hey, I like this one. I don't like this one." This one's just kind of wild, but I had to include it. It looked so cool. If it doesn't lag like crazy, maybe. But I think Claude is done. Let's take a look. Okay. Yeah, it is. Whoa. Let's take a look at what it did. So it did a lot of work. I thought a lot. Okay. So it says a new file. We got level thumbnail renderer. It reads save objects already decoded at memory to render a 220 by 128 render target 2D. I wonder if that'll be too big. I guess we can always change it. Bounds are computed from platform objects, so large background sprites don't slow. Okay. Interesting. Skips oversized backgrounds because it was looking at everything. It didn't know what we were using in the level builder. We're using very little stuff in the level builder, like considering how much we could render. So it had to take into account all that stuff. Interesting. Oh, and it even moved down junior menu. Look at that. It knew. Adjust the thumbnail rectangle position and the skip threshold. All right, let's see. Did it do it? So we didn't tell it to create a work tree. It might have just committed it directly to to the project. This is fine. It's fine. Let's take a look where I put it. Let's see here. Bing. Let's go in here. Yeah, it looks like it did it directly. Yeah, it didn't merge it. Sometimes if you're not careful, it'll just like do literally everything. And be like, wait a second. Let's see. Oh yeah, there it is. Thumbnail renderer. Alright, it's in there. Let's take a look. Let's see. Visual Studio. Black screen. No. There we are. Let's discard what we have here. Let's look for it up here. So it's creating a width and a height. It's got margins, got a cache. Initializing. Let's see if the cache contains a level ID. Interesting. See, this is stuff that I would have trouble doing on my own, which is this idea of safely setting on render targets without conflicting with active sprite patches. Like, that stuff is tricky. Getting your level data based on where we are, finding the save objects, which is correct. That's what it needs to do. Getting cache stuff, clearing cache, and then generating it. Interesting. Positions, sure. Whoa. All right. So what is it doing here? I went way too fast. So this is when it's generating the render target. which is wild. It's doing a lot of stuff. It's going through each of the objects, looking at the positions. And it has to go through different types of objects that are probably never going to be rendered. Like I didn't tell it, hey, ignore this type of object, ignore this type of object. Like it's looking at camera objects and section objects and things. Like those aren't going to be in there. Because some of those things are also invisible. Like camera objects are telling you like where to position yourself, and section objects are like help with that. So if it actually renders those things, there's going to be problems. But generally they're invisible, so even if it renders them in the same right location. We have the interactive platform. This will be really interesting. And then it's switching object types here for just draw object method. Platform, non-interactive. Cool, that's all it did. Maybe it looked in the save level files to see what was actually present, to know what type of ones to render. Because I don't see everything, which is good. And then try get platform sprite. It's doing some complex stuff here. Frame widths, sprite sheet stuff, cool. Standard color tiles. Colored platform positions, cool. All right. You click play, you see what happens. Now the problem is the laggy stuff's still going to be in there. Skip the tutorial. Whoa, that looks crazy. All right. Dude, look. It's the level. Now, you might be wondering, why are there this border around it? Like, what's this blue border? Why is there a black background? That is cool. That's because there are invisible platforms around the border. So when you're bouncing around, there's actually a different type of platform that is specifically just invisible that's creating a boundary. And that's why it has that bounds around it. It also has a black background here. We can see it's choosing to do that. The dimensions here are a little bit different than what I had. And it's choosing to do a black sprite. Now, of course, all this is going to lag out like crazy. So, but I want to go to different worlds. Let's see if I can press up and get out of this lag. Interesting. The arrow bricks, it just has little dashes. Those aren't rendering great. Solar is not doing any of the platforms. It's not showing the lights. Okay. Same for here. It is getting the platforms though. Oh, the big bricks aren't being rendered. You can see how tiny this one is. That's actually a big brick. So if we go into this level, you can see this is a big one. Here, you can see it doesn't have any of the other types of objects. We're gonna have to dictate. So if I go down and open this guy up, if I can get past the lag, there you go. You can see we have our little pollinators here, full flowers. That's not picking up. Yeah, so it's just doing platforms right now. That a first try, not bad. Definitely not bad. It's something that I can just keep adding in. Hey, do this type of object. Don't do this type of object. Do this. Don't do this. Make it transparent. I can move it. But we got to start. We got to start here, which is cool. Let's close that. So that's going to be it for today. Look at that. Look at that lag thing. And that's how, well, I don't want to say that's how easy it is, but that is how somewhat straightforward to start coding in Claude. Now I'm using it in an existing project and doing features on it. You can of course just do a really big prompt and start a brand new project. But this is how I'm going to be continuing to build out features and finishing Switch Ball Deluxe. Using a combination of Claude, doing some customization, going back and forth with it, doing some stuff on stream like this, and then there'll be a bunch of stuff I have to do off stream as well. But thanks for all who tuned in today on Twitch and YouTube. Tomorrow and Friday, I will be continuing doing development in Claude, either continuing with this or just continuing doing new stuff, exploring new things as this game approaches public playtesting. So these features I want to get in so that playtesters have it, such as the backgrounds, thumbnails, and all this kind of stuff. And then once it's in playtesters' hands, we're likely going to be moving forward to a small crowdfunding campaign. But I'm really excited. The game's a lot of fun to play. So I'm looking forward to people finally being able to play it. But I will see you guys tomorrow around 11. As always, love you guys. Jesus, love you too.